Hi and welcome to another episode, and what we've got here is the Super Retro-Cade version 1.1, the American version, not the UK version, even though this wonderful UK accent that you're listening to. Now, lots of people have been asking, how do you get a different controller to work with it? Of course, it comes with two of these, which are, they're good. They're not great, but they're good. Very picky though, but yeah, you can play with these and you're fine with them. But yeah, people have been asking, how do you get other controllers to get working with it? And some people have been really asking about getting a arcade stick working with it, because obviously there's arcade games that are on here. So let's get showing on how to do that. Okay, so if by magic you get yourself a joystick, an arcade one, it can be like this, where it's got the 8 buttons, or it's got 6 buttons and then player 1 and 2. It's up to you which type you get. I just bought this one because it was cheap enough. It's not any fancy joystick parts that you've probably ever heard of, but it does the job. I can do Street Fighter 2 moves on it and everything like that, so it's good enough. It's just a little plastic tub on the bottom with some big rubber suckers to help plant it on your desk. But apart from that, as I say, it gets the job done. The controller card inside, which I'll have a look at the moment because I've already undone the screws, is just a cheap, no-name. Oh, you can't actually see it, can you? It's a cheap, no-name controller card, but again, it does the job. So, as we can see, we've got a joystick, and then obviously what we've got as well is our 5 buttons on the underside of them. Now, obviously we've flips it over, so there's button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how Windows sees it. Let's talk about it in that way. Now, when it's actually working with the Super Retro-Cade, which is now hiding there, it actually does it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the way that you would kind of like it to be able to be done. So it maps across to the gamepad. So what we have to do is change where the wires come from here in the order of what they actually do. Now what I'll do is stick up a little diagram of which ones need to go where, but in the meantime I will also transfer these around. Okay, so I've got the little diagram in front of me of what I need to do. You might be able to see really like small text there, but next to each one on this particular controller, it says K1, K2, K3, and so on and so forth, all the way down to K10. And then it's got some fun buttons over in this side as well. So as I say, that's basically how it thinks of all the buttons. You can see they're in order, so as in the second button is actually in the second place, and so on and so forth, like I keep saying. Now, we need to disconnect these because, as I said before, it sort of uses the top row and then the first few of this one when it's associated with the Retro-Cade, which we'll leave down here. So let's disconnect the ones that we need to go up to. So we need to pull all 8, the first 8. Let's pull these, and then they're a bit of a tangle now, so let's be careful with them when we do them. So for K1, we actually need button number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we take K button number 5 and we actually put that the correct way round, which with these is the sort of the where you can see the pins facing the way that they were before. So just double check which way they're facing when you take them out and then put them back the same way. It's just, it changes the way of, does it activate on the button pressing down or does it activate on the way up? It's just keep it that way around. I believe that's how it works anyway. Then we need button number 1. I need to stick that in K2. And then we need button number 2, which is this one, and we need that to be in K3. Then we need button number 3. Let's try not to make too much of a jumble of wires. I need that to be K4. So we've got 1, 2, 3 of those, and then we need button number 6. So 5, 6. So we need this one. And then we need, what do we need? We need button number 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need this one. And then this bit is a bit up to you on how do you want to do it. Do you want it to be basically button number 4 or button number 8 to be the next in line on how to do stuff? So, but let's just put it back to maybe the way it was. Maybe I've pulled too many off. Yes, I have. In fact, you need to pull off the first. No, you did have to pull them all off. But let's just put it this way. So we've got button number 4 and button number 8 in the next row of that. And that, my wonderful watchers and subscribers and patrons, that is how you make yourself a nice little arcade stick for the Retro-Cade. So let's just make sure the black cable sticks out the back here. And that's it. And then you screw it back together again, and which I'll do, and then I'll prove to you that it works on the Retro-Cade. Okay, so we've got the joystick all screwed back together again, and of course we're interested in these top 6 buttons here, but I want to correct myself from before when I mentioned 8 fire buttons. It is in fact 10, because obviously I've got start and select depending on which way around you've had got them plugged in. But yeah, so on the Retro-Cade we're not interested in these 2 fire buttons, we're just interested in these 6, because obviously that's what they are. There's these 2, those 2, and then the shoulder buttons. And of course, as we've already done, is we mapped them. You might wonder why I've plugged this into the Retro-Cade. You'll understand in a moment, because what I want to do is set up a player 2 so I can easily show you what these buttons are actually doing when they're there. But before we actually go into everything of there, I want to point out that that is your A button, that is your B button, and that is your X button, and of course your start and select are on the side here. You could remap them across as well to these if you wished, but you understand what I'm getting at. They're there. So A, B, and X, so you can do your OK, you can do your back, and you can press your X for filter if you're using the default games that are on the system. You know, you're not putting an SD card in. As you can see, I've got an SD card in with some extra games on. So I want Street Fighter 2 just as a basic simple game to prove that the 6 buttons we're interested in actually do something. So I'm going to stick a load of credits in, throw it all the way up to 9. I know you can't see that because it's behind what I'm currently doing. Yeah, my little video in the bottom right here. So I press my start button. I'll select Ken just for the fun of it. I'll also select what is it on here? Start on here, so that we've got a character. Just happens to be Chun-Li, it doesn't really matter. Put that out of the way for now. So we've got Ken, and the easiest way to know that you've got everything done correctly is to pull down on the joystick, press button 1, which is low power punch, and the second button, which is medium power punch, and then 3, which is the high power punch. And obviously sort of the same thing again on the bottom row. We want a low powered kick, medium powered kick, and a high powered kick. And there we go. You've got your 6 buttons that you need for your arcade machine. You've got your start and select on the side, and you can still control the menus of the Retro-Cade. Now you're probably going, well, I've redone it around, what about for other systems? Well, all I can mention really is that it will work fine on other systems that they can use 10 buttons, but has it that they're programmable or redefinable, depending on how you want to phrase it. But so lots of games on the PC let you redefine what the fire buttons do, and the same on something like on a RetroPie or something. You know, you've got RetroArch installed, you can redefine what the buttons do. So even though they're sort of all over the place for a PC, or, you know, as I say, Retro-Cade or something, not Retro-Cade, RetroArch or something like that, it doesn't really matter because you can remap it back to what makes sense for that particular system, even though it's all over the place. So obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wherever they are, you know, you can make it that it makes sense within the game. So not to worry really. It'll only make a bit of a strange thing if you're trying to use it on maybe a different style of Mini that doesn't understand that way around and it's not reprogrammable or redefinable. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's been interesting. As always, happy gaming.